story appears ordinary until you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
CoreTV News on the hour with Nifemi Oguntoye. As the crisis thrown up by the primaries of the People's Democratic Party and various state chapters of the party and its aftermath continues, President Goodluck Jonathan has appealed to all aggrieved aspirants not to dump the party. The president, who was speaking at the fundraising dinner of the party at the banquet hall of the presidential villa in Abuja, says the national leadership of the party is working hard to resolve conflicts thrown up by the primaries in many states. The primaries of the party for the selection of candidates for the 2015 general elections has thrown up crisis in most state chapters with accusation of imposition of candidates by either the governors or the national headquarters of the party, leading to the defection of aspirants such as our former Oyo State Governor Alao Akala, Samuel Otto, our former Minister under Jonathan, and Sheyi Makinde. Jonathan, however, advised aggrieved party members to remain in the system to correct whatever is wrong in the party as against jumping ship, while also saying that all the cases of aggrieved aspirants in the states may not be resolved to the satisfaction of all concerned. The governorship candidate of the Labour Party in Rivers State, Tony Prince-Will, says the People's Democratic Party will lose Rivers State because of the disorganized state of the party. He alleged that the imposition of the PDP governorship candidate, who was a former Minister of State for Education, Nyesom Wike, has disorganized the party, while also hailing the choice of Yemi Osinbajo as running mate to Muhammadu Buhari by the APC as a smart move. Prince-Will, who until his defection from the PDP was a governorship aspirant, condemned what he described as the humiliating treatment meted to other PDP aspirants because of Wike. He says he decided not to support Wike because he believes he cannot win, positing that he cannot watch the APC win without taking any action, which is why, according to him, he left for the Labour Party to keep his agenda of giving the people of the state another option. Now, staying with the fallout of the primaries within the PDP, an aspirant of the party for Osun East Senatoriate District, Joshua Oluwaseyi, has dragged the party's candidate in the district, Francis Afadaunsi, the PDP, and INEC to court on the alleged ineligibility of the candidate for the senatorial primaries of the party. Counsel to the aggrieved aspirant, Boye Williams, said this in the originating summons filed before the Federal High Court, Osogbo, on Friday. He claimed that Fadausi did not resign his position as chairman, governing council of the Cocoa Research Institute of Nigeria, which infringed on the guidelines issued by the party for the primaries. He also said that the PDP and the chairman of the party in the state, Gani Olaoluwa, replaced names of validly elected delegates of the party with other names during the primary election of the party for Osun East Senatorial District. Management of the Ekiti State University, Ado-Ekiti, has opposed the bid by the 19 All Progressives Congress lawmakers of the Ekiti State House of Assembly to conduct their plenary in the institution, saying the institution will not allow political meetings to be held on its campus. The opposition lawmakers at their plenary, presided over by the Speaker Adewale Omere at an undisclosed location in Ado-Ekiti on Friday, resolved to hold their sittings and conduct normal legislative business at the facility, the Faculty of Science, Ekiti State University of Ado-Ekiti, for security reasons, following a motion by Majority Leader Churchill Adedipe. An action, he said, is supported by Section 101 of the 1999 Constitution, as amended. But the management of the university, in a statement issued by the registrar, Emmanuel Oguyemi, says no political meetings will be allowed on the premises, describing the campus as an academic environment which is committed to teaching learning and research, and will not be joined in unnecessary political issues. The university also dismissed rumors of any plenary sitting of the APC lawmakers ever being held on its campus, and saying none of such will be allowed. Rivers State Governor Rotimi Amechi has stated his belief that no emperor will govern the state, as the people will not vote for any governorship candidate who is a high-handed leader. Amechi, while speaking at the freestyle parade of the Rivers State Cultural Festival known as Kaniri in Port Harcourt, says Rivers people would only vote for a statesman and an effective leader that understands their problems. The governor expressed the belief that the All Progressives Congress would win the forthcoming governorship election, adding that an APC governor in the state would not allow the annual Kaniri celebration to die. Going further, Amechi says the candid advice he has for the people of Rivers is to vote for a leader and not an emperor who will not identify with their problems. He also says the emergence of an APC governor will help in sustaining the Kaniri in years to come and finally liberate the people of Rivers from poverty. With the 2015 elections gradually approaching, the issue of violence and political thuggery has come again to the fore, with killings and violence in some states linked to political thuggery. In this report, our correspondent, Oluwaseyi Adegoke, takes a look at the issue.
The political history of Nigeria has been dotted with stories of strong men holding fort in localities with a little hint of violence, either directly or indirectly. The post-independence period has seen the nation struggling with violence thrown up by politics, with events such as Operation Wete and others like it. Some primaries conducted recently ahead 2015 elections were indication that violence linked to political thugs may be a major problem in the 2015 elections if this issue is not properly addressed. These politicians say political thuggery is an aberration that they do not encourage.
We have been in the struggle for a violence-free election.
Political thuggery is against the will of God, and those who are engaged in it must stop.
Thuggery, people are already dying, you know, in over 2015, and a lot more are going to die.
This Nigerian lawyer says the law abhors violence of any kind.
There is no law, whether written or unwritten, that supports thuggery. So the Constitution is definitely against thuggery.
Speaking on behalf of all security agencies who have been questioned for their roles in some of the political violence witnessed before now, Lagos State Commandant of the Nigerian Civil Defense Corps, Donatus Ikemefuna, says all hands are on deck to prevent thuggery in the coming elections.
All security agencies have decided to come together as one, so that all those skirmishes that we envisage that will come up, will be forestalled and taken care of. There is going to be total synergy of all security agencies, and this is calling on everybody. It's not just security agencies, even politicians and the public to give us information so that those problems that we envisage, will be nipped in the bud.
While the security agents made a promise for election security, and the Independent National Electoral Commission also promises free, fair and credible elections, most Nigerians expect that all stakeholders work to ensure that the 2015 general elections is violence-free. Oluwaseyi Adegoke, CoreTV News, Lagos.
We'll take a break now, and I'll be back with more stories. Don't go away, please.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical. Women being so powerful, yet have few grounds in decision making.
They see you as a way, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on CoreTV News.
Welcome back. You can also get all of our top stories on any of our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News. On Twitter handle is at CoreTV News NG. Streaming live on YouTube, it's youtube.com/CoreTV. Leave a space and news. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says claims that it does not have sufficient funds to conduct the 2015 election successfully are wide of the mark. Chief Press Secretary to the INEC Chairman Kayode Idowu says the Commission has no reason to complain about paucity of funds, though the Chairman of INEC, Atahiru Jega, was recently reported to have said inadequate funding was a challenge that was threatening the conduct of the forthcoming elections. But Idowu says the Commission is receiving a lot of goodwill and cooperation from other arms of government, for which he says the Commission is grateful. Though he admitted that all the funds needed to fully plan for the 2015 elections have not been released, Idowu was optimistic that the federal government would meet the needs of the electoral body. Idowu also says INEC will be tracking how much money political parties and their candidates spend on the 2015 election campaigns. Idowu, however, urged parties and their candidates to be orderly and shun violence in the next year's election. The House of Representatives says it will appeal the judgment of an Abuja Federal High Court, which stopped it from summoning the Minister of Petroleum Resources, Deizeni Alison Maduke. The Federal High Court, presided over by Justice Ahmed Mohammed, also halted the House probe of 10 billion naira that the minister reportedly spent on maintaining a private jet Challenger 850 for our troops. The judge had held in his ruling last week that the summons of the House to the minister to answer questions on the jet was invalid on the grounds that the House resolution was neither published in the Journal of the National Assembly nor in the official gazette of the federal government. House spokesman Zachary Mohammed, speaking to newsmen in Abuja, says the last has not been heard of the face-off between the House and the oil minister. He says the House lawyer were reviewing the court's decision and would enter the appropriate appeal against the judgment. Mohammed, however, says he will not be speaking further on the issue so as not to jeopardize the appeal being prepared by the lawmakers. National President of the Men's Fellowship of the Methodist Church Nigeria, Samuel Ejiofor, says the threats posed by food and job insecurities in Nigeria today are far bigger than that of Boko Haram's terrorist sect. Ejiofor, who was speaking after the end of the 18th National Conference of the Fellowship in Umaya, says that unless something urgent is done to address the looming job losses that may follow the crash in oil prices as well as the issue of food scarcity, the nation may be headed in the wrong direction. While blaming politicians for paying lip service to the problems of the country, he called for collaboration between the church and government as a way out of the country's many woes, saying politicians are to be blamed for the current state of affairs. He says the activities of Boko Haram is more political than religious and condemned the failure of all parties to practice internal democracy, something he says has contributed to the nation's woes. Now, the death sentence on 12 soldiers and another 54 convicted of mutiny by a General Court-Martial of Nigerian Army has been described as harsh and inappropriate by human rights lawyer Femi Falana. Falana says the judgment is not in tandem with reality and needs to be readdressed, as the acts for which the soldiers were convicted cannot be categorized under the offense of mutiny.
Because the verdict is a genocidal act on the part of the military authorities, the court-martial did not consider any of the defenses put up by the soldiers. The facts were not properly evaluated, and therefore the judgment cannot stand. The boys were not engaged in mutiny. On July 9, that battalion had lost 3 officers and 23 soldiers, and 82 people were wounded. On that occasion, the military authorities assured the boys that they were no longer going to be engaged in the war without the provision of adequate weapons, because the Boko Haram sharps are by far more armed with sophisticated weapons. When on August 4, the soldiers were asked to move and recapture Damboa, Delwa, and Balubin, they made it clear to the authorities, Why are you sending us on a suicidal mission? You have said you will give us arms. Where are they? And of course, they didn't make them available. But notwithstanding that, by 18th and 19th of August, when weapons were made available, the same soldiers went for the operation and rescued those who had been captured. And the witness of the government, the military witness, the first witness, commended the boys for their gallantry. We were therefore surprised that they were in fact charged in the first place for mutiny. And I made it clear to the authorities, a demand for weapons in line with the provisions of Section 217 of the Constitution cannot be mutinous. Even though they are soldiers, right? As the members of the public are made to believe that they have signed to die. They didn't sign to die carelessly. They didn't sign to commit murder, to commit suicide. They signed to defend the country, armed with adequate weapons, and that was not made available to them. So for that reason, we are going to, first of all, appeal to the Chief of Army Staff, who is the confirming authority, not to endorse the judgment. But if he disagrees with us, we'll go to the Court of Appeal.
So if not death penalty, what verdicts are you hoping for?
No verdict, no. We're expecting that the boys were going to be discharged and acquitted because the evidence was totally overwhelming in their favor.
Meanwhile, the military authorities say it's too early to confirm the number of insurgents killed in a forward attack on PHCN engineers working to restore power supply to some parts of Borno State. Some reports had suggested earlier that soldiers on patrol killed 75 Boko Haram members around Boluburi village near Dambua, but the figure is likely to be higher. Defense headquarters said in a statement that an ongoing mopping operation will determine the number of terrorists who died in the encounter with troops on Friday. It however confirmed that a large number of terrorists died in the process while their IED-laden Hilux vehicle was destroyed. The military says troops also captured the Hilux vehicle earlier stolen from the Borno State Ministry of Education, but now repainted and rigged up with an anti-aircraft gun. Other weapons recovered by troops include rocket-propelled grenades and rifles. 2 soldiers also died in the encounter. The military, meanwhile, says Army engineers who have been clearing IEDs and effecting repairs on bridges have repelled an attack while working on the bridge around Busara. The Department of State Service, DSS, says it's creating the right and conducive environment for the conduct of the 2015 general elections. The service says it would not allow divisive politicians and terrorists to truncate the nation's democracy or undermine national security during the exercise. The Director General of the DSS, Ekpoyon Gita, disclosed this during the graduation ceremony of the Executive Intelligence Management course in Abuja. It stated that the DSS has trained its personnel and other senior executives of other government agencies and equipped them with the needed knowledge, exposure, and expertise to ensure a safe and stable environment in which the political processes can be conducted without hindrance. We'll take another break now, and I'll be back with stories outside Nigeria. Don't go away.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Thanks for joining us again. Outside Nigeria now, Monsef Mazoki has refused to admit defeat in Tunisia's first free presidential election. This is after exit polls suggested Beji Kadesibi had won. Now, Mazoki, a caretaker president, a former exile, says his rival's declaration of victory was undemocratic. SFC 88 has been celebrating with supporters, telling them all Tunisians now need to work together and promising to bring stability. Critics say his success marks the return of a discredited establishment. Official results are not expected until Monday evening. One exit poll gave a service 55.5%, with several others showing similar figures. The election marks the last stage of Tunisia's move to democracy after the 2011 overthrow of President Zain El Abidine Ben Ali. It's the first time Tunisians have been able to vote freely for the president since independence from France in 1956. Mazzocchi, a 67-year-old human rights activist forced into exile by the Ben Ali government, says the election was too early to call, stating the announcement of victory as undemocratic and patience should be exercised if the state would respect the rule of law. He was thought likely to attract support from the moderate Islamist Ennahda party, which has played a key role in Tunisian politics since the Arab Spring, but did not field a candidate. And that wraps it this hour on CoreTV News. Join us again at the top of the hour for more stars. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Thanks for being there.